was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like
forward.
a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
Hi, I'm Zandile from Kailicha.
I'm Nontando Manuel from Friedenberg.
Hi, I'm Zizo. I'm from KZN.
Hi, I'm Luyo Ndengane from Kailicho.
Hi, I'm Naledi Giovanni from Fishhook.
Certain schools have certain privileges and resources. Then us Kengoku in the townships with teach in a class, there's only this green board. That's all you can do. Even when it gets to science, you get to the lab, there's no equipment whatsoever to deal with. Then you have to teach kids from the textbook, which is much harder to comprehend.
But there's this romantic idea, but our lecturers is saying a teacher knows how to do. A teacher doesn't need the resources. It's one complaint. We just teach. But exactly, at certain degrees, you just need.
It's a huge disadvantage.
It is. That's why whenever I teach my lesson, a green board is the last option. Option is poster. You need to have some. You can't be writing the entire. I know all of my friends. Yeah, whenever I have a lesson, I make sure I have a poster because there's no resources. The time I'm spending writing on the board, something is happening at the back. So I need to make sure I keep them entertained the entire time. If you're teaching the year and you don't have the equipment or apparatus to do so, you need to bring a box. You need to bring a toilet paper. Make this thingamajig. Make sure it works for the class. So I think us as this generation who goes to CPUT at this time and now, we inform that we can go further than the resources we have.
So we don't have any excuse to be like, there's only a green board, I can't do anything. Because we've been doing all of this over and over again. That's what I like about studying here at CPUT and actually doing e-teaching because I'm going to be a life science teacher, it doesn't mean I have to have a projector, I have to have a full skeleton thing. I can always come up with ways. We have YouTubes, we have many different stuff. And then you go to that school and then you find a life science teacher there and then your class, you do all these fun things and then her class doesn't.
But how do you guys...
Because she's not willing to do that.
You must share the information.
But you'll share, but then she's going to be like, I went to this box, I'll put it there.
But remember when we had that conference on the language thing, the English conference, where the kids from Germany or whatever have the cooperative classes. There's two teachers. It is romantic, but it isn't. I have one teacher with life science who was my mentor. She was perfect at life science. Like, you know, when someone goes the extra mile to do stuff, so the other teacher would ask her to do something for her, like, please, when you're doing something, do it for my class too. So they'd come up, bring the kids in one class, have the whole thing together, whereas for me, I understood what they talked about when they talked about rotational learning because I know two teachers can coexist in one classroom. We can collaborate. I have better ideas than you. You have yours.
We're in the same conference, all of us.
I'm teaching here.
I was totally against it. I was totally against. I told them I'm against this cooperative thing because the thing is, every teacher has his his own, his or her personality. I'm going to bring something different. I want to dominate my class. I want to dominate my class. I don't want to feel small in my class. If I feel that I need to do a certain thing in my class, I will do that. So, two in a classroom, I can understand if there are two rates. No, it's not about me, but my strategies in how I, as well, in the content, how I bring the content. My personality, I'm a dominant person. So if I have to think about manuals because it's passive, what should I do?
Don't think about manuals, guys. This is the topic. I'm confident with this topic. You're not. You ask for help naturally because if you need help, you can't just paraffin the kids and hope to move on.
So how do you feel?
So Zandile, are you not okay? So you're not saying whereby not that teaching style where there's two teachers
Just
on this side, on the other side. Because now I'm against that one. What I would do is that I would love to have a teacher every now and then sit at the back and then assist me if I have a group thing and then I want to put them in group. Assist me like that, but don't teach with me in the class because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to be like, I'm teaching here, you're teaching on your left side.
It's going to be a lot going on in one class.
And consider the numbers because if you go to Kailicha, you find about 50 learners in grade 8F. Most of them are failures from a previous grade. from period, they just been condoned into just pushed into
How
that
do you
grade.
feel about that?
But you just push into that grade 9F after break. They just had lunch. So do you feel that situation? Do you feel that where were they from? Belgium. So that Belgium approach or German or Netherlands approach will be conducive.
Like with the government decreasing the marks all the time, that they're making it harder for the students to get into varsity and to cope.
Never mind get into university, survive university, because if you've been able to scrape through the bare minimum, did you notice first year the difference between people who went to like your Model C schools, Obenina, your multiracial school like Tina, then the township schools? I saw, because I was like in the middle. I'm not very good because I didn't go to Model C, but at the same time I wasn't really disadvantaged. I wasn't that much disadvantaged, but I didn't get as much as other kids got. So when you got to varsity, you see that there's like a huge difference.
We cry over 60%, whereby they are amazed by 50%. It's the glory because I've made it 50%.
Now, what my aha moment was, first year we did, what's this called? Computer literacy. I was like, how these people can't do words?
Exactly.
And then people are like, how do you turn the computer on? And I'm like, what?
So I just came
I
from
never
this
had a
country.
laptop at home, but I had a computer. I had computer access at school all the time. So I didn't understand people who couldn't turn a computer on. So those are the kind of things that, like,
And also the people who needed extra time when we were doing computer lit.
for the most basic things, and like you don't realize how advantaged. Like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realize how advantaged I was. Because when I was at the school, I was like, okay, I'm black, I live in a township, I'm poor, I don't fit in here.
But now
And then when I come here and I'm like, but why does it feel like I have an advantage of some sort, and yet I'm one of them?
But
You'd see people who are not disadvantaged, like abantu who have privileges and stuff. You'd get like an assignment. There was one time where we asked for an extension of time because we didn't have, it was a strike and we didn't have computers in the townships. You have to pay to get into an internet cafe. And people were like, you can just pay 8 rand in an internet cafe and post the thing. And we were asking for extensions. And because Bona, they're not in any area of injustice, they're like, no, guys, submit. People don't understand when they're disadvantaged that people have to work 3 times as much as them because of the inequalities that happened prior to university. They catch up now.
I get so angry when someone says, are you still throwing the apartheid card? I'm like,
Yeah,
guys, what card? The
24 years
apartheid,
later.
how long did the apartheid take? How long did the apartheid
And
take?
they think that
And
years of ANC,
Can
which is
undo
a
all of
corrupt
that.
government on
The same
itself.
ANC, the same government that is looting. But getting back to some of the things, we feel that do you notice that most white people feel that it is fashionable for them to go to the townships now?
Don't talk
They feel
about it.
they want to be black all of a sudden.
Guys,
Serious, they want to be black.
you wanna what you're talking
So
about?
we want their
day.
privileges, but they want to be us.
But then the thing is like, what annoys me out of everything is like a white person like, but I didn't do it. Hey, but still, your grandparents, your ancestors do. Don't tell me you didn't do it because at the end of the day, you benefit from white privilege. When you can walk in a township and no one will rob you. I will walk in my same township and everyone will be around me. So you see that there's that respect for a white person. We sit in a taxi with a white lady. The white lady is gonna be treated like the thing that the best. Now I'm sitting in the same taxi as you, and yet there's some sort of. Those are the kind of things that I don't understand. They're gonna open a door for the white lady. No one's gonna open a door for me. So those are the types of privilege. It's still there, and us black people, we still have that mentality that they are better than us, and
That's
then
where our
we need to
education
bow
needs to
down to them.
change.
And exactly.
Our
And
education needs to change
what
that
I
because-
love is that I think it's the EFF that wants history to be a compulsory. I need it. I need that.
Which is?
to happen.
Do you know,
But no, in history class, they are learning about American history. And
that's what I
Nothing
told
about
you
Talk
about.
about things that happened here.
Yeah.
You know, in my high school, the first time I had any encounter with power dynamics in South Africa was in grade 12. I was doing, the whole entire time during high school, I was doing physics. Because, you know, black parents say, you must do physics, you must be a scientist, you must be a doctor.
No, not just
I
parents.
tried
as
this
well.
physics thing, and it chowed the hell out of me, so I stopped doing physics in grade 12, and I changed to history. And then it was a multiracial school, but majority of the teachers were coloreds, and this was the only black man in the entire school. He was teaching history, very, very passionate about what he taught. He didn't just read the USSR, the civic rights movement in America. He went further to explain what the PAC is in South Africa. He told us about Upoko, he told us about the Langa uprising. He went.
But today you
And
find there's nothing
I'm
about Solomon
wondering-
Mahlangu.
No, anything.
I'm wondering what it's going to take for Tina as a South Africa to decide that we're
Our
changing
own
history
history.
books, because it wasn't made for this generation. It wasn't made for any black generation at any point, because it was propaganda that was pasted on books so that we are fed that no, man, ANC liberated people, ANC is still the option, ANC is this. But we need to update history, because as history
The very
changes,
same ANC came
and
from.
so the present.
See, those are the things, maybe our education. If we look in terms of history, we need what we call black history. I need to learn about Samora Michel. I need to learn about Gaddafi. Don't give me the propaganda. Gaddafi was a dictator. All those things. I need to, because in Libya there's so many good things. I need to learn about Solomon Mahlangu. So there was a movie about Solomon Mahlangu, but people didn't know who Solomon Mahlangu was until that movie came out.
The real story on Mandela.
See, all of those things, they're only coming out when those people have passed.
I know we had this one module where we taught how to bring about change and how policies are made up. So, Tina, as the people who are going into teaching in the next 6 months, how do we then, Tina, evoke this change that we want to see? Okanye, Tina, what do we then bring to the table when we go?
I believe teaching should not be about the content. First of all, there's so much emphasis on the content. That is why, in the papers, you find that Christian was number 5, Christian was number 1, and you find that maybe Harry Gwala, number 15, but you don't understand in terms of the ratings, all those things, in terms of the ratings, but you find that, well, how many are going to graduate there? There's so much on the content. If a school is number 10, it is singing. So we need to find, the kids need to be liberated here. Not just teach them about what? About photosynthesis, all those things. Liberate the kids here, but then again, we have the CAPS document, the curriculum advisor will say, well, how far are you now? You cannot say, no, I was liberating the mind.
Curriculum that we learn about, that with every content that you teach, you're imparting some of your knowledge or some of your own information or perceptions about life. So I think it's also important that when we teach, we also evoke some. Tina, black kids were taught values from the community. So if maybe Nati, we are able to, within the whole content that we need to finish, we are able to teach some of those values. And some. One thing I loved about the Fees Must Fall generation was the emphasis on the next generation that follows after Tina.
I can't wait for Ramaphosa's honeymoon to be over, so people can get to understand what is like the real problems to wake up again, because I think this honeymoon as well is.
We're not.
The poster boy, but we are forgetting the real issues. If you go now to townships, they're going to say no, Tumamina, I'm going to do this and that. But the Tumamina campaign, what is there's a proposal march and everything.
Our education system is twisted as hell. Yes. Because even the allowing of private tutoring or private schools and those not, we should integrate.
Should be the same.
They shouldn't be in
Because
private
that's where the inequalities come from, that I'm able to pay for this. Education is a commodity. Yeah. If you're able to pay for this, you're going to get this. Yes. But if you're not able, you get the bare minimum. Yeah. You're going to get the 30% and whatnot.
My dream is to start an NGO for women to educate and empower them.
My dream is to never stop dreaming. Because if I stop dreaming, that will be the end of me.
My dream is to teach my learners better than I was ever taught.
My dream is to be more, to empower people, and to bring about change.
My dream is to open a homeless shelter and to teach children about self-empowerment and self-confidence.